Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It is another edition of Ask the County. Joining us this morning is Saginaw County Treasurer Tim Novak. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great.
This is a great topic we're talking about today. So we are talking all about preparing for an emergency. And there are some little things, and I love that, little things that families can do to make sure that we're all ready for the worst. So what supplies should we have on hand?
So think about it. Any emergency is easier to handle if you're prepared ahead of time, right?
Right.
So kind of some of the things is I like to think of have an accessible go bag, we'll call it, right? Okay. So you're going to want to have that bag that's ready either if you had to shelter in place or what if you had to flee your house. So some basic things like a flashlight, a battery operated radio, extra batteries, a blanket, maybe emergency information like insurance information you may need, list of medications. And then if you had to flee, think about things like either for the pet or if you had a baby, like are there certain things that would be helpful if you had to flee for that? Right.
Now, Tim, I love that you call them a go bag. I love that, to have a go bag. Okay, so we should have them in different places, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Different bags in
different
places.
So if you think about, you know, all the different places you maybe you need to keep one in the car.
Okay.
Maybe it's something that would be helpful to keep at the workplace. Something, you know, when you like personal type items. Work may have workplace preparation information,
right.
But for maybe your personal, that's where maybe the information for your insurance or your list of medications, or maybe emergency phone numbers so that somebody else could reach you or you could reach them if you needed. So yes, in multiple places as well. It'd be
I love
good.
that. Okay, so I always think about how much cash should I stash away somewhere? Should we have some extra cash on hand for an emergency?
Well, yeah, because think about, you know, what if ATM machines didn't work, or what if credit card machines were down? They kind of recommend a base of $150 to kind of start in your kitty would be a good amount to kind of have. And not everybody has that to stash right away, right? So if we start small, maybe we put away $1 a week or some small amount that you can afford to kind of kitty away in whatever you're comfortable with, you think amount of money you need. But you know, every little bit of loose cash would be helpful to have available for you. Just in, I mean, once again, it's a just in case. Maybe you never need it.
Always prepare ahead of time. I love it. Okay, so I love the to-go bags. Get your little go bag ready to go, and having cash on hand. Anything else we should think about as a family too?
Yeah, just think like all of this can be super overwhelming. Like we could, like I was telling you before, and we could do this for 12 days in a row. We could have tidbits. But so if you think about like maybe do one thing a month. Like focus on as a family. One thing a month that you could do to get ready. You know, maybe this month you put the go bag together, and maybe next month you start putting the money away. You know, maybe, you know, it's making a pet supply list or, you know, all different types of things. So you're always, and then if you have an action plan, go back over your action plan with your family so everybody kind of knows what happens if we had to flee the house. Do we have a safe place to meet? It's always about communication and follow-up, maybe every 6 months. Okay. Kind of as a family, if you're having dinner and go, listen, what would we do?
Sure.
And kind of make it a fun conversation with the kids, because you don't want them to be scared, but you want to be prepared.
You know, you would hate it if an emergency happened and then you just panic. Like, what do I do?
Right.
You're not prepared.
Right. So if we talk through these things and, you know, you can, you don't want people to be fearful, but you want them to know, and maybe you can make fun games out of it with the kids. What would happen if this happened?
Sure.
And which would be another item if you had kids to pack, you know, maybe Uno or some sort of simple card or board games to keep folks occupied, or a nice book. In your go bag would be some other types of things to kill time.
Love it, because sometimes in a situation like this, kids are more calm than we are. They're like, oh, we need to get this, Mom. Let's not forget this. So
yeah, a lot of times they've had preparation at school and different things where they've gone through these things every year, and we as adults haven't. So maybe we should lean on them for all the good ideas.
Always lean on your kids, that's for sure. Thank you so much for this valuable information. I appreciate it. If you have any questions that you would like to ask the county, just send them to WNEM at WNEM.com. Do not go anywhere. There's more TV5 News at 9 right after the break.